questions there.
Okay.
If you want to
So I will go in the order that they came in, I think. Well, I'll go but with what's in front of me here. So Katie asked, sorry for the ignorance, but cutting straight into the sand with water and they propagate, no nutrients. So yes, actually sand, even sand has nutrients, but the real thing that you're doing here is with the softwood cuttings is you have leaves, photosynthesis is going on. There's a lot of strength in the leaves and in the stalk itself or in the wood itself, and that allows it to put out nutrient. With softwood cuttings, they're only in the ground from midsummer until fall, so really only about 2 or 3 months that they're putting out roots. And all they're trying to do is they're reaching out, they're trying to find nutrient, but there's enough nutrient in the sticks to keep them alive. With the hardwood, there is, again, still enough nutrient. The plants that I have that I put in last winter, they're doing just fine. I did have an issue with some of them because I didn't even water those. I just let nature take care of them. Every once in a while I watered them, but I was not misting those. So they did fine without any nutrients. I have not fertilized anything at this point. I don't want fertilizer in my sand because then I'll get all kinds of other weeds and everything else growing in it. But yeah, they do absolutely fine with no additional nutrient.
And are you using a rooting hormone?
I am using rooting hormone, and I apologize, I did forget to say that. So I use 2 to 3 internodes. I cut right below an internode, and then I dip it in rooting hormone and I push it in. But the rooting hormone is just to kind of get it to callus over and start growing roots. It's really not providing any nutrient for them.
All right, go ahead and quit screen sharing. And
okay. Well, actually, I have one other question here.
Oh yeah. Keep going with questions. But
and let's see. Don asks, won't the backflow valve for an irrigation system cost about the full $125 plus in some areas? So the valve that I have is a sprinkler irrigation valve that immediately cuts it off. So it acts as a backflow valve as well. And I bought it from Home Depot, and you can also get it online at Amazon, but it costs about the same at both. And it was like $12.50 or $13. It was not that expensive. So the normal position is that it's closed and you're pressurized on the one side. So when the solenoid kicks off with the timer, it pulls the valve open and the pressure blows it out. And then when the timer goes up, it drops the valve down quickly. And that's what's acting as the backflow valve. And that is the last question that I see here, Josiah.
Go ahead and hit the stop sharing.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Great presentations. It was a great presentation. As far as the tools you're using for the website, most everything you have is very similar to what we're using. We do use MailChimp instead of Aweber on Permaethos site for our mailing lists. But I know the Survival Podcast, Jack, he uses Aweber and seems pretty happy with it. There was an issue with updating Aweber, but that's because he was using it for so long that it's a major overhaul to update it to the newer version that can accept the new server information, the new PHP and MySQL stuff on the server. That was the only issue I've ever heard of having with Aweber, but Aweber is a great platform from what I understand.
Yeah, I've had no issues with it so far. It's been absolutely great for me. The majority of the products I went with came right out of the TSP community and jackspirko.com. Like I say, a lot of the stuff is outdated. He's running some kind of a podcast program that he talks about in jackspirko.com that is not available anymore, at least by the name that he uses. So it may be called something else, but I found one, I think he used PodPress or something like that. I used something else, and it's been wonderful for me.
Yeah, PodPress. When we were doing podcasts, it was PodPress. Are they maybe they are out of business? I don't know.
I don't know if they're out of business. They may have changed the name because when I go to the WordPress site looking for plugins, I could not find that.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, Yoast SEO. I love that. They do a great job. The only thing I wish they did was analyze the words that are in your post and
Yeah.
then recommend a keyword. I
Yeah.
would that would help a lot. But
I do have some experience in Jack Spirko in jackspirko.com talks, I think it's called all-in-one SEO. And I used that for the first 6 months. And I was not ranking very high in SEO. I had several different issues with it. And I went to Yoast SEO, and it took several days, almost a week, to get everything changed over. But once I did that, I almost doubled my popularity. All of my pages went up. So either I had something set up wrong. So I'm not going to definitely say that it was all in one SEO because I'm not an expert on that. But Yoast SEO, I went through, I got green on all that. It improved my pages. It improved everything. And I got more hits and everything. So.
yeah, they do a great job. And the biggest problem we had with the all-in-one SEO versus the Yoast was the site mapping.
Yeah.
Site mapping. But let's see. Tim asks, are you selling out of everything that you're producing? Seeing plenty of demand with the outlets you've developed.
Well, I have a bit of a problem there in that as much as I like buying plants, I, I like planting my own plants too. So I had Aronia Viking or Viking Aronia. And I think I ended up selling 3 of those, and I ended up planting the other 30 or 40 in my own garden. So, because that's one plant that I really love. As far as selling out, no, I sold out of probably about a third of what I have this year. Uh, my subscriber base skyrocketed this summer, in part because I went to Yoast SEO after I stopped selling nursery stock, and I picked up a lot of subscribers after that. And I got Fluid Depiction in there, and they helped out with my SEO a lot, above and beyond Yoast. So my subscribership, I would say going into the summer, I was 150 subscribers. So at 7 or 8 months, and I'm up, like I say, close to 1,000 now. So,
And are you going to be focusing on selling locally over online, or would you prefer to selling online over local?
I did local for the first time earlier this month at the Baltimore Orchard Project when I was invited as a vendor there. And as much as I didn't think I would like it, I absolutely loved it because I put out information about the blog and the YouTube, and there were lots of people there I got to talk to. I actually had one guy come up that had seen several of my videos, and that's just a cool feeling to have millions of people in the United States and have somebody walk up to you at a table and said, "Hey, I saw your YouTube video." And it wasn't that they were from this community. It's just they were from the area and somehow they happened across one of my water harvesting videos. And actually my water harvest, talking about SEO, I have 2 water harvesting videos that are in the top 10 on both Google and on YouTube. So those got a lot of my subscribers. So my goal initially was to sell mostly online and not deal with the people interaction. And actually that's what it's going to have to be, because I am in the process of moving out to my farm in West Virginia, and I'm in a rural place. I mean, that I'm 10 miles outside of town, but I'm still considered in the town, and the town has 5,000 people. So I'm not going to sell a whole lot of unique edible plants and permaculture in that town. The next closest town is almost an hour's drive away, and it has 25 or 30,000 people. So when I leave the Baltimore, Washington area with millions of people, I'm losing a lot of base as far as selling individually or selling face to face.
When you want to live the good rural life,
I can't wait. I just can't wait.
Let's see as far as the server stuff goes, HostDaddy and GoDaddy, or what was it, HostDaddy or GoDaddy and HostGator. Which of the 2 did you prefer or end up going with?
So if you remember, I had Great Escape Farms and Great Escape Nursery on GoDaddy, and I had Great Escape Consulting and toddmccree.com on HostGator. So I was posting my main stuff on Great Escape Farms, my blog post, and I was having stuff ranked #1 from my Google account and from my Facebook account, but my main blog post did not rate at all. I couldn't find it anywhere on Google, even when I searched it. And then when I took that same blog post and I took it over to Great Escape Consulting and I put it in, it immediately came right up in the top 10, well, within a day or two after it got through its system. So GoDaddy definitely gave me some issues with ranking on SEO. Now, when I had Justin Parks from Fluid Depiction in, he found a number of issues and things with GoDaddy that were conflicting, and he may have fixed that. But it's definitely something, and I would not have known that had I not done both. And right now I'm still with GoDaddy, and I'm actually ranking a hell of a lot better right now than I was 6 months ago. But so right now I'm going to stay with GoDaddy just because everything's there and just for simplicity. But I specifically asked Justin if he thought I should go with another provider. And he said, if I can't fix this and this and this, yes. But he was able to fix it.
Yeah, we ended up going with our own server just because one major thing is load speeds. We have so much content and like high bandwidth content that we needed high bandwidth a dedicated server with high bandwidth, and so that's important. Of course, like you said, image optimization, that's a major one in getting. You want your page to load under 5 seconds. I would say under 2 seconds if you can. To load up on the screen, Google definitely looks at that. So we ended up going self-hosting, but it costs a lot. It costs a lot more to do self-hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, there's one other thing. I was running a little tight on time, and I skipped over it when I was going through the presentation on HostGator and GoDaddy. But I highly recommend that anybody that is ever going to open up a business go out and do that themselves, because in doing so, you learn about SEO, you learn about the plugins, you learn about how different things tie together. And if I had just gone out and got Justin Parks to do this for me, or somebody else that's doing SEO, then at best I could go in and maybe put a picture and some text in, but I would not have a clue how to add additional features. Let's say I want to add a members area or something like that. I'm not scared to do that now because I put the website together from scratch. Now, I still need to go back in and look at some of the stuff that Justin's done, and I'm hoping to get a chance to do that over the holidays to kind of reverse engineer it and figure it out. But you would be totally lost if you didn't do all of it yourself, and that would be so limiting with all the features and everything that's out there, because there's so much that's out there. But you got to be able to do it yourself. You can't pay somebody constantly with every feature you want. I don't know, maybe somebody with deep pockets can, but I can't.
Yeah, I highly recommend WordPress as a great development community. You can get things done if you need some custom work. You can get it done fairly inexpensively. Because there's such a large community, such a large marketplace and competition out there. So yes, I highly recommend that. Definitely learn it yourself. Even if you plan on or can afford to have someone else do it for you, I recommend doing it yourself so that you know what they're doing, or at least have a basic idea of the people you're paying, what you're paying them for, and what they're actually doing, so you can see the effects on the site. Yeah, that's a big money saver for us. And
absolutely.
Development. But all right, if you guys got any more questions, now is the time. Otherwise, we were going to wrap it up. As soon as I say that, we get one. Brian says, as part of your transition to Virginia, are you going full into running a nursery, or will you also maintain your current career?
So my current plan is right now I'm working 5 days a week in Maryland. My goal is to work 5 days a week, but I want to do Monday and Friday from West Virginia out at the farm, and then do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday out in Maryland. I have family that's out here. I can stay with them. I'll sell the house. That will definitely reduce the expenses. So the goal is to kind of ease into farm life. But right now, I, my tagline has homesteading in it, and it's tough to really do homesteading the way I want to do it without animals, and I can't have animals if I'm only out there on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then leaving early Monday morning. So if my wife and I are out there, then we can get into animals, we can do a lot more, and we can actually grow the homesteading part of it. My ultimate goal, and 1 year ago when I started this, my ultimate goal was to have a very successful nursery business and go out there and live in West Virginia. My ultimate goal right now is to, just having done it and seeing how things are going, it's to have about 80% of the business be Great Escape Farms with the different income streams, doing videos, doing podcasting, doing blogs, and just have the nursery business as a smaller part of the business. Being one person, not wanting any employees, and limited by a number of things. There's so many things that can go wrong on a nursery, and you get one bad freeze at a wrong time, or a drought, or some regulation changes that just put you out of business. But there's so many, so I don't want all my eggs in one basket. That was part of the having multiple different income streams, so that if any one of them goes away, including the entire nursery business, that there's other things to back it up. And then once I'm out there, I can move into the vineyards, I can move into beekeeping. Right now I can't have bees because we have a lot of bear out there. So I can do a lot of things to fight off bear, but I don't want to do that and leave it for a week at a time, every single week, without being present. So all I'm going to do is, once I get out there, is open up more income streams. And I don't really know that I am not planning on competing with Rain Tree Nursery or any of those other big guys out there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think you're definitely doing it the right way. And you mentioned Jack Spirko in the Survival Podcast quite a bit. Full disclosure, Jack Spirko is one of our business partners. But what an amazing amount of information the guy provides, and really gets, if you're following the suggestions he has, he really sets you up so that you can do these kind of things where you're building up your own resources and saving. It's just savings for a rainy day. Well, if you end up wanting to transition into your own business, that preparation that you've done is a major help in getting that done. I had to do it myself. It was really nice having all those preparations, because unlike you, I did not do the smart thing. I just jumped into it, quit my high-paying job, and was like, I'm just doing it. I need to fully focus on this thing. And I just jumped into it. And if I would not have had all the food preparations and everything, my money, silver, gold, it sounds like preppers get a bad reputation a lot of times, like you're crazy, but man, it can really save your butt, and it could really help you transition into a new lifestyle if you're looking to change.
I tell you what, the Survival Podcast and the prepping and the road that I've gone down, I started out as a prepper, and you could almost say tinfoil hat, worried about this and everything else. But what I've pretty much learned is that you need to be sustainable, and you can't just do that by going and stocking up a bunch of stuff downstairs in the basement or in a garage and having, I don't care if you have a year's worth of food, what happens after that year if something goes on? So to be truly sustainable and to truly prep, you got to grow your own stuff and if without law, without grocery stores, without money, can you survive? And that's what, to me, what homesteading is. And that's more the path that I'm going right now, as far as the prepping and the nighttime goggle vision, whatever, night vision goggles and all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff was fun, but I'm still gonna shoot guns. That's fun, but
it's all about setting the priorities.
Yes,
night vision isn't the highest on the priority.
Yeah.
Food preservation is pretty high on the priority.
That it is.
So Jamie would like to know, what does your year look like starting right now?
What does my year look like? So that can go, does she mean financial revenue, or does she mean as far as?
I think just what you're going to be doing in life. Starting right now, what's your plan for the next year?
My plan for the next year. So I am working feverishly, tearing out garden beds and everything else, and undoing all the stuff that I've done over the last 4 or 5 years at my residence, preparing to plant grass so that I can actually sell my place. Because even with millions of people around, permaculture and all that doesn't really sell in suburbia. So I need the grass lawn so the soccer mom can come in and have a place for the kid to kick soccer balls around. I'll still leave the fruit trees. I have mature mulberry and elderberry. I have all kinds of fruit here. And when I leave, actually, I counted it. I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago. And I have 55 edible plants in my yard on a little less than a half an acre. And with the exception of the garden area, which is mostly annuals and perennial herbs and stuff like that, but of the 55, they're all built into the landscape, that they actually look like they are part of the landscape there by design. So you can put in blueberries and raspberries and blackberries. There's a number of things you can put in and have them look nice. And those I will be leaving. So that's going to be a lot of my work, is tearing out the garden beds, the herb beds and stuff like that. And most of that I'll be moving out to my West Virginia place. I have a lot of places, open space in my food forest out there for ground cover, strawberries and stuff like that. So I can take all the strawberries and put them out there. So that's what I'm doing at this end. On the other end, I will be, where do I see myself in a year? I love right now the schedule I'm on, with every single week I'm putting out 3 videos, 3 blog posts based on those videos, and then I put out a 4th video or 4th podcast. I put out a podcast, which is my 4th blog post. That fills my week, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of effort to do it. I'm getting a lot of feedback, and it pushes me to constantly learn. So that's wonderful. So I have to research and do all kinds of stuff. And one thing I found working in the geek field as a network engineer is that when I'm up in front of somebody and teaching them, I am constantly learning, because somebody will ask a question that I hadn't thought about it from that angle or whatever, and I'll have to go research it. Or there's a word that comes up and I need to prepare ahead of time knowing that someone's going to ask about that. So I love learning, and the blog posts and YouTube and everything keeps me there. Financially, I have both softwood and hardwood cuttings that I'll be selling this spring. I would love to crack the 1,000 mark this year, or actually spring of 2017, sell 1,000 plants. This past year was just kind of figuring out shipping and how to ship. And I was pretty near giving the stuff away for free, just trying to get people to send pictures and stuff so I could see how it arrived and tweak all of my systems. So this year I should be a little bit better and ready to go. So I'd like to be there on that. I have a lot of big projects. I've met a lot of nice people that want to get things going, that want to do things. And I'm just, Jack Spirko has this get stuff done saying, and I found a lot of people that they love going to training and stuff like that, but they're not doers, or they want to do, but they don't know how to start. So I was talking about my farm. It was part of my PDC project for this last class, and I was said I was going to put in swales and some of the stuff I was going to plant in there. I had a whole bunch of people volunteer and say, hey, we'll come to West Virginia. Just let us pitch a tent. We'll help you dig swales and plant. And that sounds cool. Just give us a tour of your property. So, and there's a lot of people out there like that. So I would love to start getting people out to the property and seeing a lot of different things going on, and get a lot of involvement from the community. So I've learned that the permaculture community, I absolutely love the people that are here and involved. There's a lot of knowledgeable people, but even of the ones that aren't knowledgeable, there's a lot of people that bring a lot to the table in some aspect or another. So I had a guy in my permaculture class, he didn't know beans about permaculture or any of this. He just somehow ended up in the class. But he brought to class something called kombucha, which is fermented tea. and kind of gave us a little side class on how to make kombucha and stuff like that. So I got started on that. Now I'm doing videos on that and fermenting. And I finally went back to Jack Spirko's videos on fermenting apple juice and coming up with apple cider. So exactly where I'll be 1 year from now, I don't know, because 6 months ago, I had never heard of kombucha, and now I got it growing all over the place, or fermenting down in the basement, and I got all kinds of other things going. I just hope that that continues, that there's constantly new things in my life and new ways to learn and new things to do. And so far, I don't see an end in sight in that. So we'll kind of see where it takes us.
While it may be a poorer way of going about it, I think your life is definitely more fulfilled than sitting in an office.
I love it. But I still do sit in the office. With everything I have going on, I'm still putting in 40, 50 hours a week with a full-time job. So,
you had mentioned re-landscaping your property to make it sell better. And that's an interesting thought, because another thought is trying to implement permaculture to increase property value. Could you speak to that? And could you speak to what you were looking for in a property?
So I'll come back to what I'm looking for in a property in a moment. As far as how to use permaculture to shape a property, the area that I'm in is more soccer mom, and that's why I was going down the grass type. I'm going to leave the hugelkultur mound. I'm going to leave the 55 different type of fruit trees and things going on. As far as how I can do it more permaculture like, I have comfrey under every single fruit tree. I'll leave that, because that's nice. I can just say, this chokes out weeds. I don't have to tell them the other benefits that it's providing. So I can sell it as permaculture. I can sell it not as permaculture, but with the benefits it provides and the function stacking and everything else. It's just having run the Chesapeake Permaculture Institute and being in this area, there are not that many people that would be looking for a place in this price range that is looking for a permaculture place that would buy this based on permaculture.
Yes, of course.
So it's more about the price and where I'm at, and seeing the level of interest. So I don't really know if that answers your question, but I don't see any way to really do it any more than that. As you saw when I had the picture up, I have a great big swimming pool in the back. So not too much permaculture about that in itself. You can decorate around it with permaculture, but I don't know of any way I could do anything between now and June when I plan on putting the place for sale.
Oh yeah, no, I was more curious about the taking out permaculture, the beds and things, to replace it with grass, and that makes sense if you got the soccer mom that doesn't want to deal with a garden.
That's the market I'm dealing with, yeah.
And are you part of an HOA?
No, we have a community association, which is voluntary, but not an HOA.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. So your other question about
what are you looking for in a property?
What I'm looking for in a property, I think Jack Spirko has said this many times, is you're almost better off with the more challenges you have. And my property is very much like Elijah's Spring, because I am in West Virginia. I am very hilly. I have a lot of clay. The one thing that I have that they do not have in Elijah's Spring is rocks. So I cannot put a shovel in the ground without hitting a rock. So the
challenge is because it's challenging enough without the rocks.
It's challenging enough without the rocks. So when I'm talking about doing this swale across my property, and ultimately it's going to be several thousand feet once I get it in. At Elijah Spring, we did it with a 2-bottom plow. I'm afraid I may break the plow in where I'm at just because of the rocks. So
you might have to go like a mini X.
Pardon me?
You might have to go like a mini excavator.
I may. I don't know.
It's if you have the slope like they have in West Virginia, it's tough with an excavator because that's a lot of slope, and you might want to get someone to do it for you just because it's dangerous or it's scary.
Yeah. Well, so my slope isn't quite as bad as it is in Elijah Spring, at least where I'm planning on putting the swale. I do have areas that I am even sloped more than where we put the swale on the front side of Elijah Spring there. But that's zone 5 for me. It's let the deer have it. I just soon them be back there instead of in my orchard. So I'm not going to mess with that. Where I am going to mess with it, it's not as sloped, but like I say, I do have rocks to deal with.
What kind of priorities were you looking for? Internet, water, power?
So when I bought the property out there, I had a checklist of 15 things, and I don't know if I can remember them all right now because I bought it 4 years ago. But I bought it as a bug out location, not. I had heard of permaculture at that point, but it was a bug out location for me. So what I wanted was something at least 2.5 hours from Baltimore and Washington, D.C. I wanted to be at least 20 minutes from any interstate or major road, and I would preferably want it to be down a dirt road. Well, I'm down a 1.5 mile dirt road, so I'm good there. I got that. I actually got all of that so far. I wanted a water supply, so I wanted a pond and or a stream. The place I have has both. I wanted at least 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. Got that as far as the interior side. I wanted fruit trees on it already. Again, this is before permaculture, not realizing that I could do stuff fairly quick myself. So that's how we ended up with a quasi orchard that was on the list. I required a wood stove or some kind of heating other than that did not require electricity. So I got that. I required a minimum of 5 acres, and my place was 10, and I just bought the place next door now, which increased me a little bit more there.
South-facing exposure?
Pardon me?
How's your south-facing exposure?
It's not that good. Where I'm south-facing, they have a great big old porch over top, so it's blocking everything.
Yeah, it's hard to find in West Virginia, like nice south-facing, because it's so hilly. A lot of the properties aren't south-facing.
So I will tell you that where I'm planning on putting the swales, that is south-facing. So I'm lucky there because that's perfect for vineyards and stuff like that. I can do a lot with the south-facing slope there. The house itself, where I would like south-facing so I can get the winter sun and then put some deciduous trees there, that's not going to happen with this place. I mean, not the way it's put. So the house isn't situated right, but the property is situated right.
Well, luckily, West Virginia is really decent climate. I really enjoyed the climate in West Virginia. I don't know of anybody freezing to death in West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can you say that where you're at?
No, I cannot say that. In fact, a family member of mine froze to death in Montana.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Anyway, next question last question comes from Brian, and it kind of ties in with what we were talking about. How important was the support of your wife and family to your ongoing nursery success and growing these new businesses? Was your wife on board right away with wanting to move rural?
So I'm going to divide this one again up into multiple parts because, as I said, I bought this as a bug out location. I am generally not an alarmist. And after not so much listening to the survival podcast, but listening to some of the other tinfoil hat sites out there, and with things going on at the time, I was in a bit of an alarmist state and talking about yanking some money or loans out of 401ks and doing this and doing that. And that worried her a little bit, or worried her enough that she went along with the move and everything else, just because that's not normal for me. Since then, I have no regrets with what we did there, but like I say, my overall direction has changed. But it was fortunate the place that we got and the requirements we had, it just matched up with everything else for homesteading and where we're heading. As far as the business, at the time, she was starting a network marketing business. So we were kind of doing it in parallel. She'd run off in her room, her office, and do her thing and work on her business. And I'd run off and do mine and figure out how to do things. And she enjoys her sleep. So whereas I can live on very little sleep. So I do an awful lot of reading and stuff, either late at night or early in the morning, or posting on the blog. So it didn't really affect home life that much at all, in part because she was starting at the same time I was with her business, and in part because I can live on very little sleep. So if I ended up spending extra hours, it was while she was in bed, or she enjoys reading. She was doing her own thing anyhow. So it just worked out. And um, yeah, it just worked out.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really nice to be able to have a spouse that works from home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Todd McCree, everybody. Todd McCree's website, greatescapefarms.com. And you're getting a bunch of thank yous in chat. It was great having you on, man. It's always great talking with you. I look forward to working with you in the future. And,
yes, sir.
Have a great day. Have a good day, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yep. Hey, Josiah, will the chat stay up for a little while?
Yeah, I can leave it up for a little while.
Okay. I'd just like to look over and see what's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. We'll leave it running and we'll close the show off. Great. Thanks for everybody for your great questions. Have a great Thanksgiving. Bye.
Thank you very much, Josiah. I appreciate everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great talk. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming, everybody. Really love the show up, the turnout for that, everybody. It's growing every day. I'm excited to get into season 2. We have the season finale. It'll be next week. It'll be 20 episodes in this season, and then we start up again for season 2 in January. So thanks for coming out, everybody. And I'll just hang out for a little bit. If anybody wants to talk at all or ask any questions, I'm going through the chat as well. Love kombucha. 4 gallons fermenting at once.
Yeah. I have 2 gallons downstairs right now.
Oh yeah, OpenOffice. You had Microsoft Word in there, and that you got to pay for that. But OpenOffice is free. That's a free alternative.
Oh, I didn't even think about the Microsoft Office. I bought that so long ago. Yeah.
Oh, I had a question with your Are you using QuickBooks Pro?
Yes.
And you have a Mac. Are you using it on Mac?
Yes, they have one specifically for the Mac.
Have you upgraded to the latest operating system on Mac, the Sierra?
I don't think so. Let me.
All right. So before you upgrade to the latest operating system, be warned, you have to get the QuickBooks 2016.
Okay, I have QuickBooks 2016 already.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you paying the monthly thing for that, or fee for that, or do you just use without the monthly? The cloud.
The 2016? No, I bought it on Amazon and got the full program, loaded it up. I don't think there's any additional fees with it.
Yeah, well, they're trying to push. So if you call QuickBooks and ask them about, because we had QuickBooks 2013 and then upgraded to Mac, and we're like, crap, it doesn't work anymore. So you got to get 2016. And if you call them, they're like, you have to get the monthly cloud service for this to work. But you know, it works without it.
Yeah.
Just an issue we ran into.
Yeah. Yeah. Had you seen this Oregon State Introduction to Permaculture course?
No, I just opened them up to check it out.
Okay. I actually took that in the spring.
Oh, yeah?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I didn't even think to mention that one. There's been so damn many PDCs.
I try to avoid the college PDC stuff just out of respect to Bill Mollison. I try to avoid that.
He actually speaks very highly of Bill Mollison, and he's very permaculture-esque, owns a permaculture consulting company, and he's trying to use the university to get the word out without making it university-like. So he does have a PDC there. I didn't do that, but I did do the introduction, and that was pretty good. Yeah,
the big concern, of course, is that if it gets institutionalized through the university, that it'll morph into something it was never supposed to be, based on universities wanting to change it to a political thing, or who knows.
Yeah.
The intro was great. What are you talking about, Debbie? The intro to the course or the intro to the presentation?
I think he's talking about or she's talking about the introduction to permaculture
Oh, the introduction to permaculture
class by Oregon State. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at running one as well. Well, we got Creating Guy's Garden, which is almost an introduction. It's like we'll do a separate introduction to permaculture course. The Creating Guy's Garden course is a great course, though. It covers a lot of the basics, and especially for like small backyard kind of permaculture stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to sign up for that one, but I was already in a PDC. I still have the B course from last year I haven't taken yet. So,
oh man, it's about to get upgraded pretty majorly.
Oh, is it?
Yep. Yeah, I just got back from West Virginia with Michael Jordan filming the. We got about 10 hours of video to add to it.
Okay, so I better download the version I have right now real quick.
Well, no, those videos will still stay up there, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
We'll get added. Additional videos will be added.
To the same course, or is this an additional one?
It's going to be both. You can have both options, and because you've already taken the BDC, hint, hint to anybody out there, get it while it's good. Get it while it's cheap. Because you've already got it, you'll be getting the extra content without charge.
Okay.
Do you all use the QuickBooks on your mobile phones? No, I don't.
I do not. No, didn't even know there was an app for that.
Yeah, Jamie's saying she loves it. Jamie, are you having to pay that monthly cloud thing to use the iPhone QuickBooks app? I just can't. It costs so dang much to get the program. I hate that I have to pay monthly. And I got to pay monthly for Adobe.
Yeah. Okay, I've read through everything here, so I'm good.
All right. Yeah, we're done. Whenever you want to take off.
Okay.
Thanks again, man. It was a lot of fun. I'll send you an email here shortly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Josiah. You have a good night.
All right. Bye.